One of the big major changes is, as you look now, this wall is now gone. And it extended basically about 20 feet. We removed the wall by putting a temporary wall in. These beams were actually sagging 3/4 of an inch. So what I did is I jacked up the wall. By doing that, I took and put a double bottom plate on the floor. So now all the weight is transferred onto the floor joist. Then up here, what I had to do is, if I put the bearing all in one point, I would basically break the bottom cord of the truss, because by jacking up the roof about 3/4 of an inch to make it level, I put all the weight right here as a stress point, so I had to transfer my load point down to my bottom point. And then once I got my temp wall in, I put 2 cross braces in to make sure nothing moved. And at that point, I was able to remove the wall. And then what we have to do now is have a load point bearing coming down on both ends of the beam. This 2x4 is going to be gone. And then we're going to stack 4 2x4s all the way across. And then that'll carry the beam weight. And then it'll transfer down to the bottom plate. Over on this point, to carry the back side of the beam, I'm going to add 2x6s, carry the weight of the beam. And I'll set right about here. It'll be flush with this wall. It'll be a nice square corner. And then it'll carry the weight from this point all the way to that far point. Now that we're down in the basement, our beam ends right about up in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 2x4s in this little bay right here, and also a 2x6 on the back edge to carry the weight of the beam down to the footing. So it'll be a proper load point. And then over by the outside wall, we've already got pretty good point load coming down because we already have a pre-existing beam. So I'm going to add blocking. And then in front, right here, I'm going to add 2 2x6s. So I'll create a little bump out, and then all the weight will be transferred directly onto the foundation. So everything has to be kind of systematic. If you look over here now, we have our beam pocket in, and I put 4 2x4, carry the weight of the beam, and those transfer down to framing. So that's our beam pocket. A beam will go from that location all the way, carrying the weight of the rafters all the way to this location, and then have an adjacent pocket. After we get the beam in, we'll add more blocking to accommodate the weight transfer. But for now, we just have one to hold the weight up. So that way you can move your beam if you have to. If you have any difficulties or if you have to tweak anything a little bit, it's easier with 1 block than 4 blocks in the location. And here's our beam. Got 2 more to put in, but I think I cut it correctly, and if I don't, I'll blame it on David. Or Bob Vila, since he isn't here. So, and David should be showing up shortly, so next look, hopefully we'll have a beam in.